You were so frantic with your movements, you missed it when Todoroki messaged you back. Your heart beats a million beats per second. You bet it could pass the momentum of when Todoroki touched you. Where? You had wrenched from your throat. Then again, where? Tears making your throat dry. Kirigaya Hospital. We're in the East Wing. Hikari shouted from the other side of the phone. Panic hit you once again, and you ran downstairs, clutching your phone with way more strength than necessary. I'm coming. What? The question seeped down into your core as if you truly didn't want the answer to it, but you ripped open your throat and drug it out. What happened? I don't know. How did he not know? He was there, wasn't he? It should be obvious by the state he's in. God, you did not want to think about that right now. What do you mean you don't know? I think he has cancer. Your tears came more freely after that, and you felt yourself break into a sob. Aoi was one of your best friends. How could this have happened without your knowledge? Was that why he missed the sports festival today? Was that why he had been missing school the past few weeks? Yeah, the school had barely started back up for its new year, but Aoi had only been 2. You counted on your finger. About 1 week in total. He'd missed a full week of school, and he'd only gone the first Monday, the first Tuesday. He appeared then, popped up again. He disappeared, then popped up again on Friday. The second week began, and he had only gone 1 day that week. Now this week, he had gone on Katsuki's birthday, the 20th of this month, a Wednesday. He hadn't been at school yesterday or today. What the hell was he doing all that time? You felt your heart ache again. How could you not have noticed? In all that time, how could you not have seen straight through him? Now that you think about it, he'd seemed more sluggish this year. Slower. He couldn't keep up in PE class as much. Oh my God, you thought you were going to break down right there. Your mom came hurtling into the living room and up to you by the stairs, taking you in her arms and asking what was wrong. So much, you responded. So much had gone wrong. Hospital. I need to go. Okay, honey, do you feel sick? Yes, you felt sick to your stomach, like you might throw up, and all you wanted to do was go see your friend. You took in a deep breath to calm your crying, but when you said his name, everything just came out. Owie. You were nervous, but even more so, scared. Was Rin here? Did he know, too? Where was Hikari? And when you stepped into the room, all the thoughts you had a few seconds ago were blinded by your friend's presence. You wanted to call out to him, but you couldn't work your mouth properly. He had his head bandaged up. It looked pretty well, but it also made you want to cry even more. He smiled at you, something you just couldn't take right now. It was that look. The look that said he had accepted his fate a while ago, and the fact that you weren't part of that journey hurt you even more. You wanted to scream, to hit him, to take your frustration out on anyone and everyone. Why was the world like this? Why did it take people you cared about away from you? First Katsuki, and now one of your best friends, another one of your brothers? Why? Wobbled out of your mouth. Your tears were dry, but you felt a new sight coming. His smile wavered a bit, but he patted the chair next to the bed. You assumed his mother was sitting in a few moments ago. You looked at your parents. They nodded and dragged Katsuki out with them. Why? You asked again when you were sitting. You couldn't bear to meet his eyes for fear of him giving you that look, that smile again. You didn't trust yourself to not cause a scene, and you didn't want to get Aoi in the midst of crying either. His black hair and his blue eyes once shone with passion, joy, and determination. You'd seen the same glint in Katsuki's eyes. You didn't want to look up and see what they held now. It already sat in the back of your mind, the image of him smiling at you like that. You couldn't take it. Suddenly, a rush of anger came over you, and you couldn't hold it back. Why didn't you tell me? You shouted, still looking down. Tears came flowing out of your eyes. Why didn't you tell anyone? You grit your teeth, clenching your fists. Why? Why did you force yourself? To what? To go to school? To act like everything was normal when it clearly wasn't? To go through this alone? I didn't want to worry anyone, was his small and distant voice, his soft and fluffy one, the one that made him the sole pretty boy of your group. It sounded crushed now, crushed and broken. You should have. You bit your tongue, because right now isn't the time to bring up should-haves and what-ifs. Where's Hikari? Aoi looked out the window of his room, his goddamn hospital room. He's in the cafeteria. When did he find out? My mom called his mom, and they had a long talk. It was really boring. I heard the whole thing. His words gutted your heart. Boring? You scoffed. Is dying really that boring to you? You watched Aoi suck in a breath. You looked away, facing the door, trying to place your mind anywhere but in this room. Does Rin know? Not yet. You fell back into the seat in front of him. He had not looked away from the window yet, and it was starting to make you wish you had never become Aoi's friend, that instead of him helping you pick up all the paperwork you had dropped in your first year, to ignore you like everyone else had and continued walking to class. God, you really hated him right now. A knock came on the door. Hikari walked in with a sad smile. Hey. His voice was quieter, smoother. You could clearly see the effects Aoi's situation had on you all. You wondered how Rin would react. He'd probably cry like a baby, more so than when Katsuki threatened him. The thought put an odd smile on your face, and you almost felt bad for it, until you saw Hikari giving you the same smile. Hey, Aoi was smiling too, and now you really wish Rin was here. He was missing an epic bro moment. Hey. Katsuki's rough voice entered the room. When the three of you looked at him, he turned to the side and began rubbing his temple with his forefinger. You were a bit amused by his awkwardness. Your friend, Okumura, is here. Thanks, Katsuki. Rin walked in with a small smile on his face. Katsuki watched the other boy walk in and place a red gift bag on the windowsill. You thought it was odd. Rin had always called your brother Bakugo and you YN. When did they get so close? You looked over this and went to go hug Rin. I was just thinking about how I wish you were here. Yeah, sorry I'm late. As soon as I got the news, He looked up. I wanted to stop and get something. He brightened back up in a matter of seconds, leaving you all confused as hell. You smiled fondly. He was lying. He cried like a baby after getting the news. That's why he was late. You could see it in his eyes. They had red puffy marks around them, and a little darkness, indicating he was tired. Patting him on the back, you walked around the side of the bed and pulled out your phone. Let's take a photo, you said, to finish off this lovely day. I know you're being sarcastic, but ew, Katsuki grumbled. You had forgotten he was still in the room. Well, slightly. He was halfway in and halfway outside the door. What was he still doing here? He made a show in the car about how he'd rather stay at home. Thank God he quieted down when you walked into the hospital. It looked trippy at night, something out of a horror movie. It was dead silent, and you think it gave Katsuki the chills. He hated quiet things, which is why he's always super loud. At least that's what you've narrowed it down to, for now. Your brain started to turn, and you concluded that among very few things, a silent hospital is what Katsuki's worst fear was. You looked back up, but Katsuki was already gone, flying down the hallway back toward the waiting room. Looking back at your friends, you smiled widely, and despite the overgrowing fear around you all, the room was warm and comforting too. You got home around 2 a.m. You hit your bed and knocked out. You wanted to stay longer, but Aoi had already fallen asleep, and Hikari had already gone home for the night. Katsuki, oddly enough, had no complaints about staying. although he also had no comment on leaving either. Thinking about his behavior change put a smile on your face. You woke up, threw your phone on the charger, and hopped in the shower. You made it a quick one because you didn't want to be the last one at the breakfast table. Katsuki didn't count. He was never at the table for any of the meals. Your mother stopped berating him about it a while ago. He used to come home late and not want to eat dinner, and then begin eating after everyone is asleep. Your mother couldn't keep up with him, and your father, bless his poor soul, was too precious to do so. Your mother would not allow him to speak to Katsuki on the matter. Eventually, he gave up trying to hide, and he ate in his room. Your mother gave up and just let him be. You counted it as a parental and mature point on her end. Although you were curious as to why Katsuki ate in his room too, you'd walked in without knocking one time and got your explanation easily. He was working out. He'd thrown you out as soon as you came in. Regardless, it became the new normal for your family, and no one intercepted him anymore. Especially after you explained to your parents what was going on and made your mother swear to not tease him about it, to keep it to herself. You were drying your hair with a towel when you saw your phone light up. You made your way over to the charger and sat on your bed. It was Rin, but your eyes landed on a message that was sent hours ago. You gulped and dropped everything to open Todoroki's message. What are you doing right now? Sent 6 hours ago. Bakugo's little brother. Sent 6 hours ago. Hello, little Bakugo. Sent 6 hours ago. I'm sorry, I must have the wrong number. Sent 6 hours ago. Wait, no, it is the right number. Sent 6 hours ago. You must be asleep. I will message you in the morning. Goodbye. Sent 6 hours ago. Good morning, Bakugo's little brother. How did you sleep? Sent 6 hours ago. Your first thought was that he was clinically insane and someone that was over the edge should be locked up, kept away from the world. Your next thought was why he texted like a robot, and your third was filled with overwhelming butterflies at how many texts he sent you. Todoroki Shoto, you said, you're such a weirdo. Chuckling to yourself, you thought about one thing and one thing only, how you were going to respond. Draft, you're so adorable, not sent.